हे एवरीवन, दिस इज सिमरन एंड वेलकम टू इग्नू ई पाठशाला। कैसे हैं आप सब? उम्मीद करती हूँ बहुत अच्छे होंगे और अपने घर में सेफ होंगे और अपनी प्रिपरेशन भी आप रेगुलर बेसिस पे कर रहे होंगे, क्योंकि आपके पेपर के होने के चांसेस बहुत ज़्यादा हैं। इग्नू मुझे नहीं लगता कि इतने ईजिली प्रमोट कर देगा, तो इसलिए अपनी प्रिपरेशन को आप कंटिन्यू रखिए, ठीक है? So today we will discuss about the international marketing management process, okay? And in our previous video we have discussed about the EPRG framework, or you can say the EPRG orientation, okay? So this topic is very important for your IGNOU exams, as well as if you people are going to appear in your NET or JRF paper, right? So do watch the video, and if you haven't subscribed the channel, do subscribe it as well. सो अब आप मुझे इंस्टाग्राम पे भी फॉलो कर सकते हैं, ठीक है? ये है इग्नू ई पाठशाला इंस्टाग्राम पेज का नाम। इसको जाके ज़रूर से फॉलो कर लीजिए, क्योंकि यहाँ पे मैं रेगुलरली अपडेट्स देती रहती हूँ अगर इग्नू की तरफ से कोई भी नोटिस या कुछ भी इन्फॉर्मेशन मुझे मिलती है, ठीक? और जहाँ तक रही बात आपके पीडीएफ्स की, तो टेलीग्राम चैनल पे आपको पीडीएफ मिल जाएगी, तो इग्नू स्क्वाड को सब्सक्राइब करना मत भूलिएगा। चलिए अपने सेशन को स्टार्ट करते हैं। So today we will be discussing about the international marketing management process. Now, what do you understand by the word management? See, if I talk about management in simple words, it is the organization and coordination of the activities of any business organization, right? So management functions basically include planning, organizing, staffing, leading and controlling, right? So this is management. So now if I talk about marketing management is basically the art and science of choosing the target market and delivering the best service to their customer, making a customer base or having a good customer value, right? And when this marketing management process is practiced on international basis or on global basis, it is termed as international marketing management process. Okay, so I hope you are clear with the definition. So international marketing management may be defined as the analysis, planning, implementation and control of programs designed to create, build and maintain beneficial exchanges with the target buyers in the overseas market for the purpose of achieving organizational objectives. Thus, conceptually, the job of the management may be the same as in the domestic marketing, that is, maintaining beneficial exchanges with the target buyers. The difference may arise in the application of techniques to achieve the objectives because of the possible differences between the overseas and the domestic environment. See, we all know that there are differences between the overseas market and the domestic market, right? So business organizations have to strategize accordingly, okay, in which market they are working or in which market they want to enter, whether it is a domestic market or whether it is an international market. They have to properly analyze the market, because what business organizations are practicing in the domestic market may not give good results when practiced in the international market, right? There are cultural differences, economic differences, okay, geographical location differences, the rules and regulations of different governments and the policies are entirely different from that of domestic market. So business organizations have to consider each and every aspect before entering in any international or overseas market. So I hope this is clear. Let's move to the next slide. Now let's discuss about the steps which are involved in international marketing process. Okay, first is deciding to internationalize. Next, market selection, product selection, selection of entry mode, marketing strategy selection and international organizational decision. So let's discuss these points in detail. First is deciding to internationalize. Now, the very first step is to decide that the firms want to internationalize or not, meaning that they have to decide that they want to explore international market or not. Okay, While deciding to get internationalized or not, business firms have to consider some important factors which may affect their business in future. Okay. Very first point is present and future overseas opportunities. They have to analyze what are the present and what will be the future overseas opportunities present for them, right? Next, present and future domestic opportunities. Now they have to consider that what are the present and the future domestic opportunities. Okay, meaning that what is the potential of their domestic market. There are chances that domestic market is doing pretty well in comparison to overseas market. Then why will business organization try to go international, or why will they try to explore international market? Okay, so they have to analyze their domestic market and overseas market as well. Next point is resources of the company. Now they have to see that the resources which are available with the organization are sufficient or not to enter in international market. Next point is the company's objectives. Any business enterprises works for profit motive and achieving their objectives, right? So business organizations have to consider that what are their objectives, and exploring international market will not hamper their objectives. Okay, what they want to achieve should be achieved. For example, if business organization objective is to satisfy its customer, okay, and going international, what they do, they are deteriorating the quality of their product. Now, will the customer be satisfied? No. So the objective of the company should be clear. They should know that what they want, and it should not be compromised in any way, right? Now next point is the SWOT analysis. Now what is SWOT? SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunity and threats. Okay, so any business organization which is working in market, whether it is a domestic market or it is an international market, have to consider SWOT analysis. They should know that what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, from where they can get more opportunities, or what are threatening things that can hamper the business. Okay, so they have to consider these points before entering in any market. And if the SWOT analysis is favorable to the firm, they can decide to enter into any foreign market, right? So I hope this is clear. Let's move to the next slide. Next is market selection. Now business organization have decided to go international. Okay, so the next important step is to select the most appropriate market, that is identify the target customer. Okay, so this can be done through a proper analysis of various overseas market and their respective marketing environment. Okay, now what are the important criteria which should be considered before selecting any market? Let's see this. First is geographical proximity. So geographical location plays a key role before entering or before selecting any particular market, right? The product which the organization is manufacturing may not be suitable to different overseas market due to their geographical conditions, so they have to consider this in mind, right? Next, they have to see that the market have potential or not. Now if the per capita income of the particular country is low, okay, and the business organization, they are manufacturing a product which have high cost, so the consumers will not be able to afford such type of product, right? So the business organizations have to consider that the market have potential or not, the consumer will able to purchase their product or not, right? Next point is market access. Now the business organizations have to consider that the market is accessible or not. See, there are import restrictions in countries, right? And there are chances that the product which business firm is manufacturing is restricted in a particular country. Okay, so they have to analyze that the product which they are manufacturing can be imported to the particular country or not, right? This was the negative aspect. Okay, now if I talk about the positive aspect, if the business firm have good relation or good political relation with different countries, the market is easily accessible to them, right? Next point is Market characteristics. Now, if any business organization is small or the firm is small, they will try to capture or target the small country or the country which has less population. Okay, so what they are doing, they are trying to analyze the market properly and what are the characteristics of that particular market and how they can match with that characteristics. Okay, so they have to analyze this as well. If I talk about India, so India exports typical Indian items like that of papad, spices, agarbatti, okay, to different parts of different countries, right? So what India is trying to do, India is trying to analyze the market. They know what are the needs and demands of the overseas market and trying to fulfill their demands, meaning that they are trying to match the characteristics of overseas market. So I hope this point is clear now. Let's move to the next slide. Now, next point is product selection. Till now, business firms have decided to go international and they have identified their target customers. Okay. Now, next is product selection. Once the market selection decision has been made, the next important task is to determine the product for exports. Let's see what are the important criteria which may be used in product selection. Okay. First point is elasticity of supply. See, this elasticity of demand is a major consideration for selecting any product to be exported. Okay. So it can be possible with two reasons. Okay. Either it is a natural resource endowment or the acquired skills and assets. Now, the product which is abundantly present in the domestic market of business firm, they will be able to export it quite well. Why? Because the resources are available in large quantity, right? Now, considering second point is the acquired skills and assets. Now, there are some handicraft works or the working on different machines which require proper skills. Okay. So considering this point as well, the business firms can select their product accordingly, right? Next point is demand of the product. Now, the business firm should also analyze the demand of the product in the market. Okay, they have to consider that what are the needs and desires of the consumer or what are the products which are trending at present. They should consider this. Okay, and if they are manufacturing such product, they have to analyze this as well, that in future there will be demand for that particular product or not, right? So this analysis is also very important. For example, if I talk about my childhood days, Beyblade was in picture. I mean, the children were so fascinated with the Beyblade that they wanted to purchase Beyblade anyhow, right? So here what marketer did, they analyzed the market. They knew that the demand of this particular product is going to rise in the future, so they started selling that product, right? So I hope this example is pretty clear now. Next point is select products which face minimum restriction. The business organization should also select the products which would face minimum restrictions in the overseas market. Okay, so I hope this point is pretty clear, because we have already discussed that before selecting any product, the business organization should analyze that the particular product which they are going to manufacture and export that product in the country, it should not face any restrictions, because if any restrictions are there in the country, they will not be able to export the product or their exports will get hampered. Okay, so products should be selected accordingly. So I hope this is clear now. Let's move to the next slide. Next point is selection of entry mode. Now, business firm have already decided that they have to go international, right? Next, they have identified the target customer and also identified which type of product they want to export. Okay, now they have to decide the mode of entering the foreign market. Okay, through which mode they want to enter in any foreign market. It can be exporting, it can be franchisee, it can be strategic alliance or joint venture. There are many ways of entering in international market. It depends upon the business and different other factors which are considered before entering in any market. Okay. So at one extreme, a company may decide to produce the products domestically and export it to the foreign market. So in this case, the company needs not make any investment in overseas market, right? Which we have discussed already, that in exporting, what companies do, they manufacture the product in their domestic market only and they export it to the overseas market, which require no investment. Okay. On the other extreme, the company may establish manufacturing facilities in the foreign country to sell the products there. They may form subsidiaries, they may establish subsidiaries in different overseas market through which they can fulfill the demand of different foreign market. Okay, so this policy requires direct foreign investment by the company. In between these two extremes, there are several options, each of which demand different levels of foreign investment. So this basically depends upon how large the firm is, which type of product they want to sell, what type of market they are going to explore. Okay, so there are many factors which are considered, and this we will talk in detail in the coming unit. So I hope this is clear. Let's move to the next slide. Now, next point is selection of marketing strategy or marketing mix. We have already discussed marketing mix, that is product, price, place and promotion. Right? Let's discuss about the product strategy. It is very rarely that the same product strategy succeeds in all markets equally effectively. Taking into account the local environment, the product strategy may have to be modified for each market. Product may warrant modification in terms of quality, size, shape, color, the material it is made of, etc. to suit the overseas market. So we all know that there are differences between domestic market and overseas market, right? So the product which are consumed in domestic market may not be consumed in international market or the vice versa, right? So the product strategy which is adopted in domestic market may not work in international market, right? So they have to consider aspects like the quality, size, shape, color or the material they are using to suit the overseas market. Next point is, what applies to product applies equally forcefully to packaging, branding and product service. A different type of packaging and use of different packaging materials may have to be resorted to meet an export market's requirement. Now, different markets have different requirements, right? What packaging, branding or product services applied in domestic market may not be suitable for international market, right? For example, there are countries who prefer biodegradable products or the products which are environmental friendly, right? So business organization have to work according to the needs and demands of that particular country. Okay. Next point is, similarly, brand name and logo may warrant changes. The nature and the extent of product service may be different in an export market as compared to the domestic market. So, going international, business firms have to make changes in their brand name and logo as well. For example, you can see that MTV have different logos in different countries. Okay, they have some modifications in their logo when they are presenting it in some other country, that like India. In India it is different, in other foreign countries it is different. So they have to make modifications, they have to make changes in their brand names and logo to go international to capture the market, right? So I hope this is clear now. Let's move to the next slide. Next point is pricing strategy. A company should decide whether it should charge the same net price for the product in all its market or different prices in different markets. Very often, a firm may not have much choice in export pricing beyond a point because it has to match competitors' price. In such a situation, it may not be able to recover the total cost from an export market but only the direct cost. Now, deciding the price of a particular product is also important, right? What price a business firm is charging in its domestic market is not necessary that they should charge the same price in the foreign or overseas market. Okay, they have different prices, they can have different pricing strategies in different countries. and they have to analyze that what their competitors are charging in the market. Because if a competitor is charging a minimal price, then the business have to strategize their pricing strategies accordingly. Okay, or if they are charging high prices, then if business organization charges low prices, then people will only assume that the products are not of good quality. So they have to consider this point as well. Next point is, it may be possible for a global company to charge a higher price in a rich market, but in a poor country, it may have to be satisfied with the minimum profits or at times no profit at all, or for strategic reasons, it may even suffer losses to gain entry into the market. Now, there are chances or there are possibilities that business firm can charge high prices in rich market, but in poor market they have to compromise with the minimum profits, or there will be situation when there are no profits but they have to enter a market, so they have to bear some losses as well. Next point is, extension of credit is a part of pricing strategy. It may be necessary for a company to provide credit to capture a market for high unit value items or to meet the competition. So credit facility will also help in capturing the market, right? And it is a part of your pricing strategy. Making product easily available to the consumer on credit will definitely help in capturing the market, but it will also help in meeting the competition, right? So I hope this point is clear. Let's move to the next slide. Next point is distribution strategy. In general, product-wise distribution channels are well set in every country and they have evolved over period. It is said that every product chooses its own distribution channel, and it is advised that a company should not normally attempt to change a channel for a product. However, the channels may vary from country to country, and within a country some choices may be available. Hence, a company should work out its distribution strategy very carefully so that its product reaches the consumer at the right place and right time with reasonable cost. So distribution strategy or place strategy is also a major aspect of marketing mix, right? Once the product is manufactured and pricing has been done, the next important step is to make the product available to the consumer, right? And the product should be available to the consumer at the right place and the right time. Okay. The part of the distribution strategy relates to agency arrangements in overseas countries. There are rules regarding appointment of agents and payment of agency commission to them. So, to fulfill the demand of the overseas country, the distribution strategy is totally different from that of the domestic market, because here agents are appointed so that the distribution of product can be done in a proper way and the product reaches the consumer at the right place and at the right time within a reasonable cost. Okay. Next point is, movement of products from the original producer to the final user is a part of distribution. This movement involves choice of means of transport such as road, rail, sea or air, with the attendant implications on safety of cargo, duration of movement, transportation cost, besides insurance against risk and warehousing, which again means safety of cargo and cost. So these factors also should be given proper weightage while deciding the distribution strategy. So distribution strategy also involves the choice of means of transport which should be used, whether it is road, rail, sea or air, and while choosing any means of transport, the safety of cargo should be considered. Okay, the cargo means here the product, the goods which are carried or which are going to be distributed to different parts of the country. They should be safe. They should have insurance cover. Okay, it should have proper warehouses also where products can be stored safely. Okay, so these factors should be considered in mind before deciding the distribution strategy. So I hope this is clear now. Let's move to the next slide. Now, next is promotion strategy. Promotion is a variable which perhaps is impacted maximum by environment. The company should decide on the optimum promotion mix, that is advertisement, personal selling, sales promotion for a product in an overseas market, including sub areas like advertisement media, number of spots, the duration and the time, trade fairs, type of sales promotion, etc. Now, the last P of marketing mix is the promotion. Okay, when product is manufactured, pricing is done, and all things are properly set, the distribution channel is also decided through which it will reach the consumer. Now, the most important point or the most important factor is the promotion of the product. How will a consumer know that such product is available in the market? Right? So there should be a optimum promotion mix strategy which should be followed by business organization so that the demand of that particular product should get increased and the consumer get to know that such type of product is available in the market, right? Promotion strategy should most importantly take into account the culture of the target segment in terms of its beliefs, practices, likes and dislikes, educational level, language, religion, etc. So promotion of any product should be done in such a manner that it may not affect the culture of the particular targeted market, okay, their beliefs, their likes and dislikes, their religion, etc. Right? I hope you people remember the example of Pepsi and Coca-Cola which we have discussed in our previous class, right? There what Pepsi did, they changed the color of their machine, right? From I think it was ice blue, okay? So that blue color was considered as a symbol of death in that particular country. Now this whole promotion got wrong, right? And seeing this, Coca-Cola started capturing the market. Okay, so promotion strategy should be made in a proper manner so that it may not hurt feelings and emotions of the people of the country or the society, right? Next point is promotion strategy should also include formulation of techniques to measure the impact of promotion on sales, brand preference and loyalty and image of the firm. Now, promotion strategy should be formulated in such a manner that its impact can be seen on sales, right? It can help to generate revenue for the firm, and this type of promotion strategy will definitely help in building the image of the firm, right? So I hope this is clear now. Let's move to the next slide. Last point is international organization decision. The last step involves decision regarding the international organization. The organizational decision is based on the volume of export business, the nature of the overseas market, the nature of the product, the resources of the firm, etc. The firm may organize the international marketing operations in three ways. First, creation of export department. Second, setting up of an international division. And third, development of global organization. So the final or the last step is the decision regarding international organization, and it is based on the volume of export business, the nature of the overseas market, the nature of the product and the resources of the firm, right? And this international marketing operation can be organized in three ways. First, by creating export department, next by setting up of international division, and third, development of a global organization. The simple form of international marketing organization is the creation of export department. Export department looks after all international activities of the firm. When the activities of the firm further expand, it may create the full-fledged international division. So firstly, there is a creation of export department. Okay, so export department looks after all the international activities of the firm, and when these activities further get expanded, it is then converted into proper international division. Okay. Last point is the international division may be organized in three ways. First, geographical organization, where managers are responsible for marketing activities of their respective countries. Second, world product groups, where managers are responsible for the sale of particular product group. And third, international subsidiaries, where managers are responsible for its sales and profit like a subsidiary. Now, this international division is now organized in three ways. First, in geographical organization, where the manager responsibility is for marketing activities of their respective countries. Okay. Next, World product groups, where managers are responsible for the sale for particular product group. And third, international subsidiaries, where all the managers are responsible for its sales and profits like a subsidiary. Okay, so I hope this is clear now, and this ends up our unit 2 as well. Okay, so now we will be meeting in our next video and discussing the new unit. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon for regular updates, and do provide your valuable feedback. Okay, so we will be meeting in our next video. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye, take care.